All right, one of the very first steps is to actually get your vehicle and the key in the on position, and to have that key in that position the entire time you are actually changing out your throttle body. Then you're going to disconnect your negative and make sure that it's completely disconnected and away from that terminal so it won't actually like come back and hit it. I'm going to put something in between there, just the packaging that came in, so I know that I will not get any connectivity back. Next, I'm gonna work on taking off my intake so you can see what exactly I'm doing. So it looks like I'm probably gonna need an 8mm to do all that, flathead to take that off. So we'll get to that. So we're gonna grab this 10mm. There are 2 bolts at the very bottom and 1 on top. All right, now once you loosen them, you can just unscrew. All right, those 3 come out. Now, we have, there's 1 here and here that have the clamps on them. So you need to get in with a pair of pliers just to be able to get them off of the inlet hose. Looks like on these GMCs, once you get that's cool. So 2 coolant lines come off the bottom. They both have clamps on both sides. Make sure that you kind of clamp off your coolant lines on both sides. That'll just help to stop the flow of coolant. Make sure you're doing this with a semi-cool, if not completely cool engine. Otherwise, you will have hot coolant. That will not be fun. So, clamp those off, pull that throttle body off, put the new gasket in like I did, then kind of reverse order, back on. You can then, this clip, get that back on, and then you can do the same with the other side. Now the other side, you're gonna actually have to mount the throttle body in, get that new throttle body in position, all the way seated, and then take that clip. Okay, so close up, we can also see this clip being on nice and tight. Just going to finger tighten. These 3. Then we're going to take our socket, and again, hand tighten again, just until you can't anymore. This is just going to make it to where you're not going to damage your gasket by over tightening one spot too much too soon. Then you can throw your socket back on. Do a few turns until it's mostly snug and tight. Again, we're not trying to over tighten one spot way too soon. Again, just snug and snug. Now, once they're all snug, I'm just going to kind of do a little bit more. Just give them all just a little bit more pressure until I feel like that's good. One of the biggest recommendations I can give, making sure that you're coming back to the install instructions. So read this over multiple times before you do any of this, and it'll help you along the way. So I'm gonna reference back to talking about leaving the key in the position. Remember to use the instructions if your battery is ever disconnected or replace. Okay, so Key in ignition, turned it on in the run position, usually a few clicks. Then we're gonna move over to swapping everything out. So it says, only after removing the key from the ignition is it okay to reconnect the negative terminal to the battery. If you don't remove the key, sparks will fly. So that's where I'm at. Everything is back together aside from the intake. So I'll put that intake on real quick, grab the connector, put the connector back on, pull on it, make sure that it for sure is seated in there properly. Tighten this back down. Over to this side. Now, like the instructions said, I'm gonna come back to the driver's side. Battery post. And reconnect this. There is a procedure, according to the manual, that now we have to do with the vehicle, okay? And we'll go over that together. Post reconnected, everything back on. Once we have done everything is swapped. Now we actually have to do a relearn procedure. So this relearn procedure, again, has everything kind of listed out for us. So we're gonna start, very first thing we need to do is we need to turn it on. We are gonna hold the RPMs at 2,000 for 4 seconds, then let it off and allow the RPMs to drop back down to a normal idle. Now, we'll repeat this 3 times and then turn off the motor. Then, what we're gonna do is we're gonna work our way up to this driving test. So we're gonna start at 0, and then we're gonna floor it up to 15 miles an hour. And then we're gonna go nice and steady, drive normally up to 15, and then put the pedal to the floor to 25. And then obviously we're gonna let off. We're gonna come back down to 0, then 25, nice and easy, and then floor it to 35, same thing, 35, 45, all of these steps. And the last 2 steps are gonna be running it all the way up to 0 to 60 as fast as we can. Here's the new throttle body. Puts a nice little touch on the engine bay overall. And obviously the old throttle body, which we will be shipping off. So hopefully he can do the same modification for other people.